Welcome back, ladies and DeGents, to the Distinguished DeGents Podcast Week 8 Part 2 episode of our handicap. I am, as always, Big Bucks Beta.
The Sinner Man.
Big Bucks. The Sinner Man, as Jason likes to put it. Speaking of, I'll fill up the next one. Money Management in the house. We went over the Primetime Games for the early slate to include the London game and the Thursday night game. We went over all the 1 o'clock games. Jason gave me brief shit for my dog of the week where I had to rescind that pick. I now have to pick another dog of the week.
You're going to thank me. You're going to thank me next week. So.
Well, I will say this, in our history of handicapping games, when you've been acting like this, you do tend to be right. So, gonna listen to you on this one, buddy, and not to spoil who that pick was, but we have my over-under pick. We have my dog of the week pick, technically, until I change it to this week's episode. Manson, as far as the 1 o'clock games go, where are you sitting? How confident are you feeling?
Fairly confident about some picks, not so confident about others. Like I said, my dog of the week pick definitely a sort of kind of big pick, but
my dog by default.
Yeah, dog by default. Yeah, dog by default. But no, like my fade of the week, and you gave me shit for the fade of the week and whether or not it was a fade. And my pick for the London game, I'm feeling pretty good about. So,
I'm with you on the London game at the very least. Yeah, this is going to be what hopefully is the last Sinner shot that I have to take in a very long time because Vegas just did not treat me well. To lessons learned.
See, now look at that, man. That's why he's Big Bucks Beta. Look at him. He's taking it like a champ. Oh, there they are. There they are. Let's ride.
Let's ride. I had to do it in the Bronco shot glass just to remind myself of more failure.
I can't believe every time I look online, Russell Wilson's come out with a new quote. Like, could this guy just play football? Once again.
Wait, there's another one?
He's like, I'm ready to roll. Come on, bro. Just play the game.
Play football. Play football.
Right.
How about you don't throw an interception in the red zone? How about that? God, I fucking can't. Russell will, like, Drew Lock, say what you will. He was a white guy who was dancing to, like, trap music, but at least it was a joy to watch. At least we loved seeing it. Nobody loves seeing the side of Russell Wilson.
I didn't mean to get started, but you go and it's like, we take a little break, I'm looking, and it's like another Russell Wilson quote. And the defense this guy is getting, like, nobody says shit about Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, but Russell Wilson's a bum. Like, have you watched the games? Yeah, Russell Wilson's a bum. So is Aaron Rodgers. And Lord knows I'm not one of them. Lord knows the shit I've given Aaron Rodgers the past 4 weeks. But it's like, it's not racism. It's not Russell Wilson hatred. It's the fact that the guy has not been good at football all year.
No,
That's
he
it.
Really hasn't.
Call a spade a spade. The guy has not been good. Period. Enough.
He sucks.
Jesus, I'm so sick of reading like, oh, it's so unfair. Nobody gives shit to other quarterbacks. The guy's been bad.
That's not true.
He's been bad.
That's not true. No, say what you will. Say what you will about Russell Wilson. Like take that for example. At least on our podcast, we dish it out as much as we give praise. I have given Tom Brady so much shit this entire season for sucking. I have given Aaron Rodgers so much shit for being a terrible leader, for being a horrible franchise quarterback, and the fact that he got paid to essentially suck dick. Yeah. Like, he is not.
And we've been behind Geno Manning from week 1, too, so it's not even like, here, we're equal opportunity offenders.
That's not even his name.
It is now.
But we refer to him with respect as Geno Manning, Geno Montana, Geno Marino. Like,
Yeah. We're sports bettors. Like, we don't care about white, black, Hispanic, pink, purple. You know what color we care about? Green. If you make us money, we're going to like you. And Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers have been costing us a lot of money this year. So
Amen to that.
That's where that is. But yeah, didn't mean to get off topic. I know we still have 6 games left. But like I go and it's another Russell Wilson quote. Like, Jesus Christ, man, just play some football. Win a game.
For real.
Jesus.
All right.
All
right, 4 o'clock slate. Here we go. Houston hosting the Tennessee Titans. Houston only a 2.5 point dog. They're plus 116. Over under 40.5. Titans minus 136 on the road.
I mean,
I could play the video. I really could. I'm not gonna, but for those who are wondering what I'm referring to, just type in Johnny Cochran Chewbacca defense.
I don't.
And the Tennessee Titans.
I don't understand this at all.
The Tennessee Titans are just the Chewbacca team of the NFL. This does not make sense. Why are we only giving the Tennessee Titans 2.5 points when they're playing the Houston Texans? Why? I'll tell you why. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. If the Texans only being a 2.5 point home dog is the situation, you must lay the points with the Titans. I mean,
is this your best bet?
It's not. I should. I did it last week. I was trying to mix it up, but like, honest to God, this should be my best bet.
Well, it's my best bet. That's why I needed to do Atlanta Fade of the Week, because I don't. Now maybe I'm back on. Although I was with you with the Titans, even though it didn't. I didn't play it like an idiot. I said the stat before. I'm going to say it again. 10 of 11 against the AFC South. Why is this game like? What is Houston showing?
2.5
to be 2.5 point? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
What did Washington show to be 2.5 point favorites? Well, albeit that game came down to the wire. What did the Colts do to show that? Oh God, what were they listed as?
3 point.
Real quick.
What
did the Colts do to show that they were 3 point favorites?
Oh, in Tennessee too. Yeah, that's crazy. That was crazy.
No, 2.5. Sorry, we handicapped it at 2.5. I'm sorry. We're getting the Titans again at 2.5 for the 3rd week in a row. It's like. Is Vegas trying to trap us into something? Like,
I just think they don't want to admit that the Titans. I think the Titans and the Giants are 2 teams. It's just like, no, they're really not that good. And I mean,
okay.
You know who's really not that good? The Houston Texans. They're the worst team in football. Well, no, I mean, I still think Carolina is the worst team in football. Houston is the 2nd worst team in football. My apologies. I don't. It's like you don't get it. I don't get it. It makes no sense.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Let's go through the stats. Let's just to prove our point even more. Titans won the last 3 matchups in Houston. In Houston, they've won the last 3. They've won 4 of the last 5 matchups in this rivalry straight up. Texans, however, covered their last 3 against Tennessee as underdogs. Texans, they're 7-1 ATS at home in their last 8 games. What did Houston do again to make this a 2.5 point swing?
Yeah. And that's a key point. That's a great point. When you look at these numbers, they're 7-1 in their last 8 ATS at home because a lot of times they're 7 to 10 point underdogs at home. This is like
or more
2.5 points. I mean, that's if they were 2.5 point underdogs every game at home, their ATS record would probably be 0-7-1 rather than 7-1. This makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. They can't stop the run.
As long as I can apply the Chewbacca defense to the Tennessee Titans, you must lay the 2.5 points with them.
How did Josh Jacobs look last week against Houston's defense? Pretty good.
He carried your fantasy team to a loss, but literally was the only reason you stayed relevant.
Yeah, when you have 3 players get 0 points in fantasy, not a good week. Not a good
Oh,
week.
and then, oh, and now you get Derrick Henry. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, good luck
That
with
is so.
that. Yeah, good luck. Now you get Derrick Henry. Have fun trying to stop them. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the over under real quick. Houston home games with the Titans. Over has hit 6 in a row. 10 of the last 11 Houston home games in this rivalry also hit the over. Keep this trend going. I know it sounds like a lot, but even if this was a 24-20 bullshit game, like not what we think, that still hits the cover. That still hits the over. God, this could be a 35-10 backdoor bullshit over swing. There's really no other way to like explain it other than like the Texans might get a backdoor cover at the worst case scenario, and not on the spread. They get it on the over under.
Yeah,
Like that's their best case
I
scenario.
think the Titans have gotten a lot of disrespect, and I think I think you have to start realizing that this Titans team is your AFC South division winner, which you did that parlay Titans Chiefs division winners. I think that's going to be cashola.
That will be a great cash in if that hits. I will say Tennessee has not played to their potential as of late, but I think this is a good game to get back on track with. I mean, considering the only reason they did well against the Colts was because of a pick six, that does concern me. Tannehill may or may not be playing hurt, but like, God, the Texans are so bad.
Well, I like what I've been seeing from Tennessee's defense because in the beginning of the year it was like, can Tennessee's defense stop anybody? And now I'm not saying they're good, but they're starting to show a little bit of like backbone, a little bit of, something. So
Right. Okay. I had the hardest time with this game. This was actually the game I handicapped last.
yeah, it's
New
a tough
York
game.
Giants travel to the West Coast to Seattle as plus 3-point road dogs yet again. Plus 130 on the money line. Seattle is minus 154. The over-under's at 44.5. Okay, we saw this last week, and we basically were like, are we missing something? Is something not right? Then we saw them play Jacksonville. That game came down to the wire almost. That game actually did come down to the wire. It came down to a red zone throw that got stopped literally half a yard short. I don't think that this happens this game as far as it being like questionable as to why the Giants are a road dog. I personally see it here. Um, who do you got?
It's weird. I've been wanting to fade the Giants for a while, and it's just you never can because no matter what they do, they're always underdogs. I mean, I lean Seattle. The numbers have actually been in Seattle's favor. Let me just make sure I have the numbers right here. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, they've won 4 of their last 5 against the Giants, 3 of their last 4 against the Giants at home. So the numbers have favored Seattle in this particular rivalry, at least in the past. Although again, different teams, different sort of thing. Seattle's defense has been playing a little better recently. Still need to see more before I'm going to proclaim that they've turned the corner from their abomination sort of start earlier in the year. The Giants have played a lot of close games. I've been looking to fade the Giants. It's not really a game you could do it as betting wise because they're not underdogs. But if I have to lean Seattle at home, Giants going from Jacksonville cross country to Seattle, tough place to play in Seattle. Gino Montana, Gino Manning, Gino Mahomes, Gino Brady, whatever you want to call him. He's been playing great. Not really. It's a tough game just because I like both of these teams, to tell you the truth. I like both teams and what they've done. But if I had to go and lean, Seattle being at home, I would give the edge to them. But it's just hard to... I don't want to play Seattle as an underdog because it's a 6-1 team. And the Giants are always road underdogs. And it's like, how many times have they been road underdogs and won outright? Hard to bet against them again.
Yeah, well, you kind of took that thunder from me. But
Yeah.
I'll say this. You made me get rid of my previous dog of the week. I'm going to replace it here and take the
Yeah,
Giants
I can't argue.
once again.
Yeah, you can't argue with
And
that.
and I didn't even actually. There's two more potentials. I think we could switch it to. Out of these three games I'm looking at, this is the one where I'm like, God, like, am I really going to take the Giants again as a underdog, dog of the week? And I'm not even as confident in this one compared to the Jags game. But here's my thinking, and this is why you probably would think this was a smarter play. Um, let's start with this fact. The Giants and the Seahawks are the only matchup this week between two winning teams this season. And I did not just throw up in my mouth a little bit. No, that was not from the incinerator that I had earlier. That was just the truth. Okay, I'll be fair. I don't know how good this handicap is going to be. I really like the G-Men to keep this going on the road. They're 3-0 ATS and straight up on the road. They beat the Hawks in their last matchup back in 2019. Next week, they head into the bye, which, if you remember, I brought this point up earlier. Teams going into the bye tend to play a lot tougher and a lot better compared to teams coming off the bye, which, again, would actually explain the Titans' kind of mishap last week when they came off the bye and had the Colts. Another thing, too, to keep in mind as well, the Seahawks, they have a look-ahead spot. Next week, they play the Arizona Cardinals at home, which is going to be pretty much key to this division, considering that division's also up for grabs. Seahawks may have to win this one, but if they lose, they're really going to have to go to that game a lot more seriously. Weird stat, too, just to look at, and something I personally noticed. Geno Manning, for some reason, does not seem to be Geno Manning at home. He actually seems to be more like Geno Smith. In 3 home games, they scored 59 points. In their first 3 road games alone, they scored 87.
Oh, wow.
If you actually add that 4th road game, 124 points. Now, you could look at it and see the teams they played, and maybe that makes some sense. Detroit being one of them. The one game where they were held to 7.
In New Orleans, they played New Orleans.
Yeah, the one game they were held to 7 at home, it was against the 49ers. Their defense is, I guess up and down, but at the same time, they're still considered top 5. You're getting Geno Smith against another top defense, and we've seen these games, not just the Niners game. We saw him against the Broncos, too, which are now also arguably the number 1 defense, even though they can't get a fucking win. Geno doesn't seem to perform when an actual defense shows up. The Giants' defense is actually really good. And if you also, a fun fact, you get Saquon Barkley, the Seahawks have the worst rush defense this year.
Yeah.
Tied with Chicago. They're actually both tied for the most rushing yards allowed this season. Within 7 weeks, 1,048 yards rushing allowed. I think this is a game Saquon could feast. Daniel Jones won't have to do too much yet again. You're going to get Dayball on the road, who, for whatever reason, apparently is really good. I think this is an upset spot for the Seahawks, because I think a lot of people are going to be thinking that Seattle's going to come in and they're going to get a decent road win to go into Arizona with. But I'm actually kind of thinking the Giants are going to come in and try and get a head advantage on the division race, considering they're right behind the Eagles with 1 win or 1 loss. And God forbid the Eagles lose that week, they're going to need it. And then they have to go into the bye. That could affect some things. So, oddly enough, I'll look at the numbers real quick as far as betting. I don't like that. 60% of the money is on the Giants spread. 68% of the bets also on the Giants.
Oh, you're with Barney.
Yeah, I'm not liking that, but
you're with
honestly,
Petey Pub Boy and Barney. Barney Barman.
I think if this was the other way around, I would lean more towards Seattle. But given that it's a tale of two different teams, I'm gonna take the 3 with the G-men. I don't know if I go any lower. Maybe it becomes an avoid play. Maybe it's a tease. But at this point, I can't go with my other dog of the week according to Money Mansman. I don't really have enough wins to really argue with him on that. So with that,
I haven't been lighting it up either. I haven't been lighting it up either. So you know, I've been lighting it up against you in our head-to-head bets, but other than that, I've been as hot as an iceberg. Hasn't been good.
Fair is fair. All right. Garbage game of the week.
Oh, yeah, I don't have much on this.
The Commies, the Washington Commanders, and Dan Buttfuck Snyder go to the Indianapolis Colts. Sam Ehlinger, new quarterback in a home debut, laying 3 points, minus 148 on the money line, plus 126 for the Commanders. The over-under is at 39.5. Jason, I think the commentator's new favorite phrase is that analytics say to go for it on 4th down. Stats and research tells me to take the Colts.
Yeah.
Why does it say to take the Colts? Well, they are one of the better teams to bet on after a loss. They're 11-3 straight up, 10-4 ATS since 2020. This season alone, they're 2-0. Colts have won 4 in a row this series. Between these two teams, that goes back to 2006. They've won 5 of their last 6 if you go back to 1999. Indianapolis Colts versus NFC teams since 2018, 12-4-1 ATS, 3-2 ATS last season, 2-3 straight up. Taylor Heineke for the Commanders, coming off a big win against the Packers. I wouldn't say they're Super Bowl because I don't think there was really anything for them in that game, and I think that was more of a reason to pick them. But 1-4 straight up in ATS as a starter, barely beat the Raiders last year, and these are games against the AFC, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mention that. This would have been my fade of the week, but my problem is the public is actually really heavy on the side of the Commanders. They're 63% on the money, 64% of the bets. And I could honestly see why, because we could have gone to the Matty Pisswasser drama, but I don't see a good argument laying 3 points with a rookie, unknown quarterback for the Colts that's not Andrew Luck. I don't like this game at all anymore. Indy could really be bad this year. I'm not going to lose money on this week. I'm not going to lose money on this game. I really don't think you should either. I don't think anybody should really be playing this game. I think if you have to play this game, you could play the under here at under 40.5, which I know seems low. But Heineke's last 5 AFC games went 1-4 on the under. Colts, I think they're going to run the ball a lot more if Jonathan Taylor is healthy again. They're going to run a lot more against Washington's defense, who's about as durable as that one-ply shitty piece of toilet paper letter that Dan Snyder sent out to the NFL owners. But I don't trust the Colts here. It's hard to trust either side. Personally, I lean towards Washington here if I had to pick.
Yeah, I was a lot higher. This was one of those games that jumped out to me like immediately. I saw it and I was like, boy, this is a great bounce back spot for the Colts. Yeah, so basically, basically the issue is I was high on this game before, like you said. Sam Ehlinger, know nothing about him, couldn't pick him out of a lineup. There's just other games on the card that are better. If I had to pick, just because of the historical trends and the fact that the Colts are coming off sort of like a bad loss, maybe I'd lean on the Colts defense to maybe get a couple turnovers to swing the game in their favor. But yeah, I could just as easily make an argument for Washington with Taylor Heineke, who's been in the system, has more experience. bet another game. I'm not betting this one. So lean Colts.
Yeah,
Don't like it.
that's my take. I mean, again, I wanted this to be a fade of the week. I was like actually leaning towards it because I just couldn't stand the idea of betting the Colts here. But then just everybody's putting money on the Commanders, and I can't tail that. I can't. I want to, but I can't. Okay. This game, this is only getting rougher, but we're the DeGents.
I actually like.
We're the DeGents. Wow, you like this game. Okay, that's a first, guys. Breaking news.
NFC West
likes an NFC West game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow, we are like polar opposites this week. I hated this one. Okay, so San Francisco 49ers traveling to the Los Angeles Rams. -1.5 point favorites, -118 on the money line. Rams are a +100 home dog. Over-unders at 42.5. Before I get started, Jason, 71% of the bets are going towards the Niners spread, 69% of the money towards the Niners. You like this game. Why? You don't ever like NFC West games. Why?
Yeah, but San Fran's won 7 of 8 against the Rams and covered the last 5. And this is a
Okay,
one
Barney.
This is a Barney pick, but it's a 1.5 point spread. I like San Francisco's just better. The Rams are not that good this year, and they haven't been good against San Francisco for the most part. Really, in the absence of that lucky win they had, I think it was last year they actually had that lucky win where they got the late Odell Beckham Jr. touchdown late in the game. I think that was against the Niners. Like, other than that, the Niners have kind of dominated this rivalry. Their defense is better. I'm not sold on the Rams' defense. I don't think the Rams are a good team. I mean, come on. They beat Carolina by 14 points in that ugly sort of game. I'm just
covered.
I mean, yeah, no, you're right. To me, it's real simple. It's not overthinking it. It's the fact the historical trends are on the Niners' side, and the eye test to me is on the Niners' side. I think they did suffer a bad loss to Kansas City last week. They didn't look good against Atlanta, although the injury report kind of went against them. I just have no faith in this Rams team at all. I don't think they're very good, and that's why I like the Niners.
Okay. This is going to shock you, bud. I don't have a pick yet. So I'm glad I listened to you. I'm going to give you my argument, and we're going to see what we can fill in. Not going to pour this yet. We're not going to catch a dub here, I think. We're just going to catch fire, regardless of how we go about this. But we are about catching dubs. I hate this game for this specific week. I'm going to warn everyone now. This alone could be another Cinerator-worthy handicap if this goes wrong. I always try to play the Rams in these matchups. I always lose in this series betting on the Rams in these matchups. I'm going to get suckered again into this. Here's why I'm a dum-dum. Sean McVay off the bye. 4-2. Doesn't sound exciting.
That's not that exciting.
It isn't. It's pathetic. 5-2 if you count the Super Bowl.
No, I don't. But continue.
No, not at all. My thinking is the Rams beat the Niners last year in the playoffs at home. They also did it back in 2018, so this isn't an impossible spot. If you remember in the playoff discussion last year, which we never recorded because we weren't doing this, but I told you that there were certain spots where like this could actually happen, and I said last year in the playoffs, like if there's ever going to be a spot McVay gets the better of the Niners, this is it. And I think you look at this regular season matchup, and I actually think the Niners not nearly as good as they were in the past, even with everybody back, especially because Jimmy G is back at quarterback. I know the Rams suck at home. 2-2 straight up, 1-3 ATS. The Niners this year, though, they're just as equally bad on the road. If not, maybe they're worse. They're 1-3 straight up and ATS on the road this season. They only also beat Carolina. So it's hard for me to be impressed with either side. Could the Niners win? Yes. Are they going to embarrass me again? Probably. Absolutely. I'm getting Sean McVay off a bye at home as an underdog, and the Rams are 1-4 ATS as home dogs. Fuck. Okay. God, it's the worst. That's the worst record percentage-wise.
That's that was so great. He goes, it's like you're waiting, and you think the number's going to be good. And the Rams there, that was fucking great. Oh my God. That's gonna be a special clip right there. Just a warning. That's gonna be a separate clip. That is hilarious. You were so anticipating, so excited, and then it was just nope.
Disappointment. No.
That was funny.
No, speaking of disappointment, the Niners have dropped 2 in a row as well. This should be the bounce back spot. I just don't know what Christian McCaffrey's even really going to do at this point. How are they even going to fare? I don't even know if I'm playing this. I just really don't like how much money is on the Niners here. It seems so Barney, but like God, I hate you.
It's just so bad because like I get it. You wanna fight the historical trends. But it's just I like look at the eye test. I mean San Francisco, now don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people really high on them and I don't see that. But when you look at it, they've definitely looked better than the Rams. Just in terms of body of work.
Yeah, and I guess just to keep it simple, I'm leaning under here for this game. These teams tend to actually play really close. The last 3 of 4 were within 3 points of each other. They were all under 40 points as well. So I think it kind of continues that way, given these two teams, considering how inconsistent both sides of the ball are here. Rams' last 4 games this season have gone under. I think this is just another one.
Yeah. No, can't argue with that. I can't argue with that under. And the Rams pick isn't horrible per se, although that was funny.
I wanted this to be my fade of the week so bad. I really did. I can't do it. I lost 3 weeks ago, Monday night, in the same logic.
Yeah,
where I was
God. And that's the thing, too. It wasn't even like a close... There was nothing the Rams did that made you feel any confidence at all. They just got slept. And now that presumably San Francisco's better with Christian McCaffrey. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know. But you would think that they're probably better.
I think they're the same. No, just I'm fading myself, I guess, because dumb me would pick the Rams. I'm fading myself.
Just avoid the damn game. Just who was the team last year? Minnesota or Baltimore? One of them. It was literally to the point like I can't. Maybe the Packers this year. It's just the Packers. I'm just gonna go and just have to never bet them for the rest of the year because I can't figure them out.
Yeah, God, this may be a game I bullshit DeGen same game parlay like I did last year.
Jesus
just do player stats. I just do player stats and go ham. Look, it hit last year. I'm not saying it'll hit this time, but I'm just saying like I can't make heads or tails of these otherwise, so I may as well try and play something I can figure out even more. Okay, we're into the primetime games, Jason. 2 more to go.
Primetime.
And primetime. And we get the Green Bay Packers traveling to the Buffalo Bills. Plus 10.5 road dogs. The biggest ATS spread in Aaron Rodgers' career. They're going in at plus 400. The Bills are minus 520. The over-under is at 47.5. We'll give you quick money. 63% of the money and 63% of the bets are both on Buffalo. Not an insane amount of money that I thought would be. Jason, this is your team. Where are we at with them? This should be a blowout, right?
Yeah. So yeah, there's not going to be another Packers rant. I did one last week. I did one in the recap video. Don't want to beat a proverbial dead horse.
Are you done betting the Packers?
Like I said, 4 straight weeks. It wasn't going to be 5 straight weeks. Yeah, the Packers are over. Now, I'm not that enthused about the Bills minus 10.5 just because they are coming off the bye. And I think generally the Bills have been good off the bye. I don't think they're a team that struggles off the bye. My big issue is, again, it's after the Kansas City game, the Bills Super Bowl every year. Do the Bills come out a little flat? They are going to be at home, which helps. Is this going to be the type of game where they sort of just muddle through and win by 6 points or potentially even? I mean, I do think there's a world where the Bills could lose this game, to tell you the God's honest truth, just because I could see them laying an egg. But primetime Josh, Sunday Night Football at home, unless the weather is really bad, hard to see the Packers, being able to do much of anything against this defense. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, bet the Packers 4 straight weeks. That's over. I think it's the Bills or nothing here.
Yeah, Jason, I mentioned earlier I had 3 teams on autofade. I mentioned the Broncos. I mentioned the Bucks. My third autofade team is the Green Bay Packers. And with your rants and your anger, I don't think I need to justify it more. By the way, Buffalo is 2-1-1 ATS since 2018 after a bye, if that helps you at all whatsoever. I've gone through this whole handicapping session, and I don't know if you noticed, I was missing my favorite of the week.
Wow, 10.5. Wow, 10.5. Yeah. Good for you.
No, this is, honest to God, it's such a square ball argument. But if the Bills are going to win, it's like you said, if the Bills are going to win, it's Bills or nothing. Bills, when they win, they usually win by double digits. Aaron Rodgers has been playing scrub, mediocre, borderline pathetic defenses and hasn't been able to do shit. Now they're getting arguably the number 1 or the number 2 defense in the league. And it's hard for me to, if his receivers are struggling already, now they have to go to Buffalo. And
Bills have won 5 straight in Buffalo, too.
Yeah, and they're going to hold him to 10 points. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers was playing like an MVP, I'd be scared at this number, but God, I literally have to put the Packers on autofade at this point. There's just no good way to... God, how many points was it that they lost last week? I mean, I'm going to go through the last 3 weeks. We could just go through it.
They got embarrassed by the Jets. They lost 27-10 or something like that.
Green Bay couldn't hold the fucking Commanders to 4.5. They actually lost outright. The week before, you get the Jets, 7 points at home, you lose. Go to the week before, Green Bay, you get the Giants, you lose.
New England against the backup quarterback, you don't cover.
You don't cover. You barely win. You go to overtime. Let's go to week 3. Let's just keep this going to prove my point. Green Bay, you go to Tampa Bay. That was your last win, ATS, and Moneyline.
That was their only win of the season.
You were a road dog. So, okay. Last time they were a road dog, they beat Tom Brady. I mean,
that doesn't mean much anymore. Yeah, to tell you the truth.
No, it doesn't. Chicago, Green Bay, that was week 2. They won and covered, as I predicted.
Yeah, I had week 1, though.
Week one, Minnesota, they lost.
And then...
So that's my point. Green Bay has just been the epitome of disappointment. Why? why would I take 10.5 with Green Bay? This could be 13.5, and I'd be like, yeah, Buffalo, because if they're gonna win, it's gonna be a blowout.
Well, I mean, it's so hard too because you think like, okay, how does Green Bay win this game? Aaron Rodgers plays better, which could happen. Their receivers start getting open, which they haven't done all year. Their defense.
Oh, you stop Josh Allen.
Okay, they have to stop Josh Allen and the running game, which they can't stop the run either. It's like basically their entire team needs to play well, and the Bills need to play bad for them to even have a chance to win.
Yeah, by the way, like, I want to backtrack to the Patriots organization a little bit. It was bad enough seeing Mac Jones screaming at the sideline, "I'm done," after being pulled. I've seen enough of Aaron Rodgers' bullshit tactics. The guy is immunized from winning. Whatever immunization he got during the COVID season, it seems to have immunized him from fucking winning. Like he was so worried about side effects from the vaccine. Maybe the side effects of whatever ayahuasca he took is probably taken over here. Maybe he should have considered that. God, what a fucking idiot! I can't stand guys like Aaron Rodgers. Like with that kind of bullshit. I think I'm smarter than you. Logic. I'm gonna do things holistic and natural because I don't trust science, but I believe in science. No, like.
And no offense, it's not like he's there taking a beating, getting killed for his team or anything. He's just sort of throwing everyone under the bus.
He's pointing the finger. He's pointing the finger, blaming everybody else for his
except himself. Except himself, yeah.
Which, if you look at Tom Brady, say what you will. Like, I know the guy has his own issues, but at least Tom Brady can go in a podcast and say, hey, I'm yelling at these guys. You're right. I'm trying to motivate them. I'm not trying to be a dick.
And do you ever hear Brady go, and it's like, well, you know, our offensive line was shit and people need to get cut? Like, I don't like Brady, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to defend him. But, yeah, he's not going, well, this guy sucks and we need to cut these people. Like, he's pissed off, but he's not throwing people under the bus.
Brady was the guy that took in Antonio Brown.
Yeah, how'd that work?
Aaron Rodgers is saying that people on the team need to be cut. He's yelling at his head coach. He literally was going to sit out this year if management didn't pay him more money because he was back-to-back MVP with no playoff wins.
Yeah, he's a loser. He's a loser.
God, losers focus on winners. Winners focus on
No
winners.
offense, they talk about him as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. This guy hasn't won jack shit in years.
Not at fucking all. Josh Allen, you know what he's doing? He's focusing on winning. Do you know what Jalen Hurts is doing? He's focusing on winning. He's focusing on the week after. What's Aaron Rodgers doing? He's focusing on getting other people cut. And he's focusing on finding excuses.
And you know what? Say what you will. You're right. Josh Allen hasn't won anything. But you know what? Like last year in the playoffs, the guy literally had 1 million touchdowns, no interceptions. Like he tried his damnness to win and show it up. Like how many times has Rodgers just no-showed in the playoffs?
And then blame everybody else. That's what pisses me off. And this is why they're on auto fade. Because this is not an organization I want to back. This is not a team that I think has a winning mentality. This is a team that has loser mentality.
Yeah, they're a dumpster fire. And especially, too, you go to a team like Buffalo, I mean, it's Sunday Night Football. I mean, they better hope that Buffalo comes out of the bye flat. Because Green Bay's been a first-half team, too. Like, if they get down 17-3, this is a team that tends to mail it in the second half. Like, Case Keenum will be fucking quarterbacking by midway through the third. Like, it'll be ugly. It could be ugly.
God, I on that note, the over-under is a 47.5. I lean towards the under only because I don't imagine a scenario Rodgers shows up at this point with Buffalo's defense. Like, I think this could be his career. Not like it'll be his last game. I think this is the career game he has in his last season that just kills any motivation left.
Yeah, you got to think if they lose this game, and especially if Minnesota beats Arizona, I mean, your division's basically done.
Yeah,
I think
can't see the scenario he comes back in. So with that, take Buffalo, lay the points under the 47.5. Monday night, here we go. Cincinnati,
I don't like
traveling to Cleveland. They're traveling as minus 3.5-point road favorites, minus 196 off the victory against Atlanta. Cleveland coming off a tough, brutal loss against the Ravens at home, plus 164 on the money line. The over-under's at 47. Jason, I had my dog, which you fought me on, so I had to move it. I had my over-under pick. I then had my favorite, but we're all missing the fade of the week.
Yeah, I can't argue with this.
I'm fading the Bengals. I'm done with this team. I faded them for the last 3 weeks. It didn't pay off. This is the week where, kind of like with you in Green Bay, if they fail me here and win, then I'm not fading them any longer. The last time the Bengals covered as a road favorite in Cleveland, 2017.
Yeah.
Since then, Cincy has straight up gone 1-7. However, they did go 5-3 ATS, which is good, considering they were favored one time, and the rest they were underdogs. Oh, and by the way, the one time they were favored, they lost. So Cleveland, they've dropped, I think, 5 in a row at this point. So many close games.
Yeah.
They are 1-1 against division opponents. They lost to the Ravens. They beat the Steelers earlier in the year on Thursday night. They're 2-0 ATS, though, this year against division opponents. And for what it's worth, I mean, besides the close games, they almost took Baltimore to overtime. I'm getting Cleveland as 3.5-point home dogs against what I think is an overrated Cincinnati team who's beaten the Saints and the Falcons. Which, if you remember my handicaps, I mean, the Seahawks, I mean, we have respect for Geno Manning, but their defense is abysmal. And I just think Atlanta at this point, albeit they're great ATS, I don't think they're as good as they look on paper. And now all of a sudden I'm laying 3.5 with Cincinnati on the road. Did I fade the NFC version of this series with the Rams and Niners? I really wanted to. I ended up not doing that. You know, is Cleveland literally the worst team to bet on straight up as a home underdog since 2017? Yes, they're 3-13-1. But how many of those wins were against Cincy? At least 1 or 2.
And don't they tend to cover? They tend to cover at home. Been good covering.
7-10 ATS.
So maybe not so good covering at home.
This is a spot I take on the spread, 3.5. I pick Cleveland to win just kind of by default. I don't think the Bengals have really made me excited. Like they to me beat 2 terrible NFC South teams, and I'm just not impressed. Cleveland at least has kept a lot of games close against somewhat good AFC teams. I mean, the one blowout they had was the Patriots with Bailey Zappi, but I think that was kind of a fortune of circumstance. I don't think that was, a trend that we should be worried about. They're kind of on the losing skid. I think this is a good bounce-back spot Monday night. I'm going to double-check the bye weeks, but I think Cleveland goes on the bye next week, so I think this is a game they show up in. Yes, they do. Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Giants, Steelers, Niners go on the bye next week. So, with that said, I think Cleveland's going to show up here.
Yeah. I don't like this game because you're right about all the trend lines, but my eyes just tell me this is a Cleveland team that's not very good. Now, my concern is Cleveland's defense has been susceptible to the run, and the Bengals' offense has not been good running the ball, so I think that definitely leans in your direction. 3.5 is not great, to tell you the truth. I would actually lean your side now that it's 3.5, I guess. I just think the Bengals are better. Like, I've seen Cleveland just lose these games, but the historical trend lines are all there. Cincinnati doesn't seem to be good against Cleveland. And on Monday Night Football, after a big win, like I could see Cleveland keeping it close, so I'd lean your
Well,
side, but I don't really like the game.
I guess my concern is this a middle situation where if you actually like Cincy, do you take them at the 3.5 and come think about it? Come Monday, it's going to have a 2-point swing by then. Do you think that it'll go to 5.5 and you could take Cleveland plus 5.5, maybe Cincy minus 2.5, minus 3, get a middle situation? Maybe you could play both ends, but honestly, for me, it's like if I play this, I'm taking Cleveland with the points. I don't know if I play them money line. I don't know if I'm that confident because you're right. If you look at the eye test, Cincy lately has been showing up. Their offense seems like they're back to form. Their defense is getting, I guess, some stops.
Yeah.
Like maybe, I mean, it didn't look like it with the Saints, but I mean, at least with the Falcons, they kind of like shut them out for at least a quarter and a half. Which for Mariota, again, like say what you will, the guy like has spurts of moments where like he just shows up.
Yeah, but they got out to a big lead, sort of negated Atlanta's running game. Are they going to be able to do that again? I don't know. I think that was a big part of that game. They were able to negate the running game by getting out to such a big lead. Yeah, I don't like the game. I really don't like the game. I this wouldn't be the best for me. Tell you the truth, I'm avoiding this game like the plague.
Yeah, and again, kind of like with the lack of teams to fade. Like Chicago was one where like maybe I fade Dallas at 9.5, but like I kind of like the Cleveland fade here. Like take them with the 3.5. That's my play. That's why they're my fade of the week. Plus with the trends kind of pointing in that direction too. I wouldn't say by default, but I don't really have a stronger argument one way or another with another game.
Yeah.
And again, like could Tennessee be my favorite of the week? Sure, but would I be repeating myself? Yeah. Do I like Buffalo to beat the shit out of Green Bay even better? Yes, I do.
Yeah. So there you go. In recap, my two big plays for like the late slate of games were Tennessee, my best bet, doesn't make any sense, and then San Francisco against the Rams, who they've beaten all the time. And then obviously you like Tennessee. You had the Bills as well. I forgot if you had anybody else that you really liked.
I lean towards Washington, but yeah. I know you were towards Indy. I lean towards the Giants. I think you were towards Seattle.
And Cleveland, you like.
I do like Cleveland. Yeah, so we got 6 games on the week 8 slate that we were completely on board with. Jacksonville to beat Denver. New Orleans to lose to Vegas, even though that was more of a lean pick. New England, we kind of took them over the Jets. Tennessee, San Fran, Buffalo on the 4 o'clock slate.
I'll tell you what. Oh, go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
No, I was actually done.
So. Oh, I was just going to say, too, especially with us, the games that we really like and are together, like Buffalo and Tennessee, like those games, we had our double dog last week that was a win. Like those games, we tend to do really well. If we really both like a team, we tend to have a very good record on those.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if we do a corporation bet, I think we stick to that.
Yeah.
Maybe do 1 or 2 instead of trying to parlay everything. Just
try to get a win.
Who are we fucking kidding? We're DeGents. We're going to parlay that shit.
Well, I mean, probably. But,
we'll see.
So there it is, buddy. What, 15 games? Week 8 over.
That was a lot. Next week we have a lot less games. So that'll be a lot more to actually have time to look into. It'll be a lot more competitive because we don't have as much to go on. So hopefully this week goes our way. I get to wake up and maybe play Rippers for Rippin'. Maybe not. Maybe it's just Rip It for Russ.
Rip it for Russ. There you go. 9:30 be shithoused. So.
Yeah. night dipshit. You know. We'll see. I don't know. God. It's hard to have that mentality when you're already ready for disappointment.
Yeah, I got you. So,
All right.
Yeah, no,
All
but
right, guys.
all right.
Well, thank you for checking out our week 8 part 2 handicap. As always, I am Big Bucks Beta, Money Mansman in the house. Shout out to our producer John. Shout out to the Harbor Discussions channel. Hopefully we win some motherfucking money.
Yeah, we
And
need
hopefully I
it.
never have to drink this shit again.
All right, DeGents, have a good night, and one half of the season going to be in the book soon, so take it easy.
Yes, sir.